What is your learning style? V is for visual, meaning that you tend to learn through illustrations, charts, videos, and other visual medium. A is for auditory, meaning that you find yourself most comfortable learning by listening either to a lecture, a discussion, a podcast, an audiobook, etc. And K is for kinesthetic, meaning that you prefer to learn via physical interaction, taking a hands-on approach to learning. 64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy. Welcome to the Book of the Week series. Every week, as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. My name is Igor S.F. Walker. Today, we look at Limitless. Upgrade your brain, learn anything faster, and unlock your exceptional life. By Jim Kwik. So how about you slow down and relax? Reduce all that noise for just a bit. Make that choice and decide to listen. In this video, we are reminded that becoming limitless is not just about accelerated learning, speed reading, and having an incredible memory. Yes, you will learn how to do all of that and more. Being limitless is not about being perfect. It is actually about progressing beyond what you currently believe is possible. Just as you've learned limits from your family, your culture, your life experiences, you can unlearn them. These constraints are only temporary obstacles that you can learn to overcome. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I do have and use that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. Unfortunately, our world doesn't really foster a healthy environment for our brain. Before Jim Kwik provides a roadmap to becoming limitless, he indicates that the 4 growing villains that are challenging our capacity to think, focus, learn, grow, and be fully human. The first is digital deluge. The second villain is digital distraction. The next villain is digital dementia. And the last brain-damaging villain in the digital age is digital deduction. The cumulative effects of these 4 digital villains robs us of our focus, our attention, of our learning, and most importantly, our ability to truly think. It robs us of our mental clarity, and it results in brain fatigue, distractions, inability to easily learn, and unhappiness. Learning how to filter all the data, to develop new methods and skills for thriving in a distracted world, drowning in a flood of information is what is needed to thrive in the 21st century. Learning and the ability to learn faster and more easy makes everything, and I mean everything else in life, possible. Which means that there's never been a better time to train your brain the way you do your body. Just like you want a healthy body, you want a flexible, strong, energized, and fit brain. Now, Limitless teaches us the 5 methods to achieve whatever we want: focus, study, memory enhancement, speed reading, and critical thinking. Using these upgrades, learning technologies allows us to harvest our mindset and our motivation to more easily and effectively reach our dreams. Learning how to learn is the ultimate superpower. The one that makes every other skill and ability possible. Every person, regardless of age, background, education, gender, personal history, can advance beyond what they believe they deserve and is possible. And now that includes you. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that actually created it. Unlimiting a noun, the act or process of casting aside inaccurate and restrictive perceptions of one's potential and embracing the reality that with the right mindset, motivation, and methods, there are no limitations. If there is a gap between your current reality and your desired reality, here's the reason. There's a limit that must be released and replaced in one of these three areas. A limit in your mindset. You entertain a low belief in yourself, in your capabilities, what you deserve, or what is possible. A limit in motivation. You lack the drive, the purpose, or even energy to take action. And finally, a limit in your methods. You were thought and you are acting on a process that is not effective to create true results you want. Mindset, the what? Deeply held beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions we create about who we are, how the world works, what we are capable of and deserve, and what is possible. Motivation, the why, the purpose one has for taking action, the energy required for something to behave in a particular way. And finally, the method, the how, a specific process for accomplishing something, especially an orderly, logical, or systematic way of instruction. When mindset crosses over with motivation, there's inspiration. You are inspired, but you do not know which methods to employ or where to channel your energy. Where motivation and methods intersect, you have implementation. In this case, the results are going to be limited to what you feel you deserve, what you feel you are capable of, and what you believe is possible, because you lack the proper mindset. Where mindset and method intersect, you have ideation. Your ambitions stay in your mind because you lack the energy to do anything about them. Now, where all three intersect, you have the limitless state. Then you have the fourth, which is integration. Our brains are more like a muscle rather than like a hard drive that fills up. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the more it can store. Now the question is, are we making those choices consciously, or are we acting out simply out of unconscious habit? The brain is capable of being molded and shaped, meaning that at any point anyone can decide to change the way their brain functions. Now, it is easy to assume that the individual who grew up in a more stressful, unsupportive environment may not wind up reaching their full potential due to their brain's development under those circumstances. Growing evidence suggests that people are able to thrive and reach new levels of success due to the mindset they are forced to develop in such a situation, based on a number of successful people who overcame troubled upbringings. It may just be that a difficult childhood or a challenging upbringing breeds resilience, among other attributes that do lead to success. The acronym FASTER stands for forget, act, state, teach, enter, review. F is for forget. The key to laser focus is to remove or to forget that which distracts you. There are 3 things you want to forget, at least temporarily. The first is what you already know. What we think we know about the topic can actually stand in the way of our ability to absorb new information. The second thing to forget, what is not urgent or not important. Contrary to popular belief, your brain does not multitask. If you're not fully present, it will be difficult for you to learn when your focus is split. And finally, forget about your limitations. These are the preconceived notions you believe about yourself, such as that your memory isn't good or that you are a slow learner. Suspend, at least temporarily, what you believe is possible. Now, A is for act. Traditional education has trained many people that learning is a passive experience. You sit quietly in class, you don't talk to your neighbor, and you consume the information. But learning is not a spectator sport. S is for state. All learning is state dependent. Your state is a current snapshot of your emotions. It is highly influenced by your thoughts, your psychology, and the physical condition of your body, physiology. T is for teach. If you want to cut learning curve dramatically, learn with the intention of teaching the information to someone else. Think about it. Learning isn't always solo. It can be social. Working with someone else will not only help you stay accountable, but it will give you someone to practice this method with. E is for enter. What is the simplest and most powerful personal performance tool? Your calendar. We enter important things on our schedule: work meetings, parent-teacher gatherings, dentists' appointments, taking Fluffy to the vet, and so on. Do you know what a lot of people do not schedule? Time for personal growth and development. And finally, R is for review. One of the best ways to reduce the effects of forgetting curve is to actively recall what you have learned with a spaced repetition. You're better able to retain information by reviewing it, and in multiple spread out sessions. Going over the material in intervals increases our brain's ability to actually remember it faster. The first element of the 3-part Limitless model is mindset, which is the mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's response to and interpretations of situations. Mindset is made up of beliefs, assumptions, and attitudes we hold about ourselves and the world around us. All behavior is driven by belief. So before we address how to learn, we must first address the underlying beliefs we hold about what is possible. Limiting beliefs are often revealed in our self-talk, that inner conversation that focuses on what you are convinced you cannot do, rather than what you already excel at and what you're going to continue to achieve today and into the future. Limiting beliefs can stop you in your tracks, even when you are doing something at which you normally excel. Dr. Andrew Shaddy, Jan Bruce, and Dr. Adam Perlman coined the term iceberg beliefs. because of how many of them lie beneath the surface of our subconscious. Iceberg beliefs are deeply rooted and they're powerful, and they actually fuel our emotions. The more entrenched an iceberg is, the more havoc it wreaks on your life, creating your scheduled chaos, getting in the way of successfully sticking to a diet, or holding it back from seizing opportunities. Now, if we get a handle on our icebergs, we gain an enormous amount of control over our feelings and over our lives. Melt an iceberg, and the downstream events it causes get washed away as well. It is also commonly agreed that genius expresses itself in one of 4 different manners. Here's a way of looking at it that has been around for thousands of years. Dynamo genius. Those who express their genius through creativity and ideas. Blaze genius. Those whose genius becomes clear through their interaction with others. Tempo genius. Those whose genius expresses itself through their ability to see the big picture and then stay the course. And finally, steel genius. Those who are brilliant at sweating the small stuff and doing something with the details that others had missed or could not even envision. What do you say is your genius? Write it out in the comments. What is your genius? There's a very good chance that your own genius is a combination of 2 or more of these. Genius extends far beyond your ability to excel at academics or recite the periodic table on command. You have genius inside of you. Being aware of how you're holding yourself back with your self-talk, and then spending some time to get to the source of these beliefs is extremely liberating, because once you are aware, you can begin to realize that these aren't actually facts about you. They're rather opinions. And there's a very good chance that those opinions are actually wrong. So here's a key. Get to the facts. One of the fundamental tyrannies of limiting beliefs is that in so many cases, they're just plain wrong. What is the evidence to support that? How many times have you actually been in these situations, and what have been the results? Now, if you can create a separate persona for your own inner critic, one that is different from true you, you will be considerably more successful at quieting it. This can be enormously helpful, and you can have fun with it at the same time. Give your inner critic a preposterous name, an outrageous physical attributes. Make it cartoonish and unworthy of even a B-grade movie. Mock it for its rigid dedication to negativity. Roll your eyes when it pops into your head. Now, before we move on, to learn faster, we must transcend the narrow definition of what we believe is possible for ourselves. You're being lied to constantly, sometimes by yourself. We are all subject to an endless stream of misinformation about our constraints to our capabilities, and we receive this information so often that most of us have no other choice than to believe it. The problem is that these messages directly oppose your quest to become limitless. So lie number 1, intelligence is fixed. We tend to think of IQ scores as a fixed reflection of our intelligence, but that isn't the case. The IQ test actually measures current academic capabilities, not innate intelligence. To this day, IQ tests still do not measure creativity or practical intelligence, which you can call and think of as street smarts, and they certainly do not measure emotional intelligence, all 3 of which are increasingly more important in the workplace and in life. Here's the truth. It is not how smart you are. It is actually how you are smart. New belief. Intelligence is fluid. Lie number 2. We only use 10% of our brains. Here's the truth. What I want you to take away from this is that you have all the power of your brain available to you right now. The utopia that some of these movies and TV shows depicts is already possible for you. While we use all of our brain, some people use their brain better than others. Just as most people use 100% of their body, there are some bodies that are faster, stronger, more flexible, more energized than others. The key is to learn how to use your brain as efficiently and as effectively as you possibly can. And by the end of this book, you will have the tools to do so. New belief. I am learning to use my whole brain in the best way possible. Lie number 3. Mistakes are failures. Now here's the truth. Mistakes are not failures. They are a sign that you are trying something new. You might think you have to be perfect, but life is not about comparing yourself to anyone else. It is about measuring yourself compared to who you were yesterday. When you do learn from your mistakes, they have the power to turn you into something better than you were before. Also remember that you are not your mistakes. Making a mistake doesn't mean anything about you as a person. New belief? There's no such thing as failure, only failure to learn. Lie number 4. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is important, but it is the performing of some action that is required to make it powerful. This is where we get stuck as a culture. Here's the truth. Knowledge is not power. It only has the potential to be power. All the books, podcasts, seminars, online programs, inspiring social media posts in the world will not work until you put your knowledge into action. Do not promise. Prove. Your results will speak for themselves. New belief, knowledge times action equals power. Lie number 5. Learning new things is very difficult. Here's the truth. Creating a life you want can be scary. But you know what's scarier? It's regret. One day, we will take our final breaths, and not one of other people's opinions or even your fears will actually matter. What will matter is how we lived. So do not take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. People will doubt you and they will criticize you no matter what you do. You will never know your true potential until you break the unfair judgments you place on yourself. New belief, it is not your job to like, love, or respect me. It is mine. And line number 7, genius is born. Here's the truth. Genius leaves clues. There's always a method behind what looks like magic. New belief, genius is not born. It is made through deep practice. Motivation is not something you wake up with or not. We put ourselves in a trance-like state when we say, oh, I don't have any motivation. Well, motivation is not something you have. It is something you do. And it is entirely sustainable. Unlike a warm bath, it is not something that you experience for a moment and then you lose unless you heat it up again. Motivation isn't derived from a seminar and temporarily pumps you up. It is a process. And since it is a strategy, you have control over it, and you can create it consistently by following the right recipe. And here's the formula. Motivation equals purpose times energy times S3. When you combine your purpose, your energy, and small, simple steps as 3. You get sustainable motivation. Think about it as energy management, creating it, investing it, and not wasting it. Clear purpose or reason gives you energy. Practices you employ will cultivate energy for your brain and the rest of your body, and small, simple steps actually require little energy. What is motivation? Motivation is a set of emotions, painful and pleasurable, an act as the fuel for our actions. Well, where does it come from? Well, motivation comes from purpose, from a feeling associated with the consequences of our actions or inactions. Finding your passion is about giving yourself novelty and putting yourself in a new environment to see what lights you up. It is difficult to do that if you feel limited or if you're self-conscious about looking bad. So let that go and enjoy the experience. Those initial moments of discomfort might lead you to an entirely new passion and purpose in life. Breaking a bad habit is not about ending that habit. It is about replacing it with a different, more constructive habit. Focus. What can I learn from what I am like when I am focused? How can I increase my ability to concentrate? How do I limit my distractions and calm my busy mind? The 4 levels of competence. The first level, known as unconscious incompetence, is when you do not know what you do not know. For example, you might not even be aware of the fact that something like speed reading exists. So you are also not aware that you currently are not capable of doing it. In the next level, known as conscious incompetence, now you are aware of what you do not know. The third level is conscious competence. What this means is that you are aware of a skill and you have the capacity to perform the skill, but only when you actively put your mind to it. And finally, the 4th level, the one any lifelong learner is seeking, is unconscious competence. In this case, you know how to perform a skill and it's simply second nature to you. Employ spaced repetition. Cramming has many downsides. While it is natural to procrastinate, leaving yourself in situations where you need to study a tremendous amount of material all at once makes it more likely that you're not going to learn that material at all. The reason is that trying to work that way puts us in direct opposition to the way our brain actually works, functions. If you can imagine yourself in the speaker's shoes, you're likely to learn more from this experience than if you do it dispassionately. Trying to understand where the speaker is coming from and why brings additional substance to what they might be saying, and then it allows you to feel it from their perspective. So engage in the experience with the sense of anticipation. Remember that learning is state dependent, and that what you can learn from this speaker will become a long-term memory if you attach emotions to it. Your enthusiasm for what you're hearing will greatly increase your potential of truly hearing it. Unlimiting your reading and your learning will offer you an unparalleled level of freedom. People who make the most of their capacity to learn find themselves experiencing the world with a sense of mastery and with the confidence that no task or a challenge will intimidate them. And there you have it. Limitless. Upgrade your brain, learn anything faster, and unlock your exceptional life. Now please do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. Share it too. Spread the word. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel and stay up to date. The link to this book is in the description below, so you buy it, you read, and you never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website and find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management even further, then do check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.